floorboard. If you watched the previous video, that worked for a while, and after a little while the floorboard ended up wet again. So I believe there's some other issues we can look at, and I think I know what it is. So follow me and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm doing a voiceover on this. I had some music playing real low in the background, and YouTube will ding me for that. So I have to do the voiceover on this part. So I just got the car ready, took the front wheel off, found that's the best way to do it. That way you can take this inner fender out. If you have to, you can take it all the way out, but to get to where we want to get, it's easier just to go ahead and take the front wheel off, jack it up, make sure you know where to jack the car up. If you jack it up anywhere, you'll break the plates underneath. You could bust some brake lines. There's a lot of different problems you could cause by just jacking it up. Here is actually what it looks like under, back behind the inner fender. There's some more of the garbage that came out. Now this was just after 1 week. I had cleaned this the week before. Now, granted, I didn't get it all out because you can't get where you need to get without taking this inner fender out. It requires a T20 Torx. And once again, make sure you know exactly where to jack the car up at, and make sure you use jack stands. Be safe, always work safe. And I think we're going to get into some sound here now, I hope. And make sure you have your shop vac ready by getting the dry filter out. Have it set for wet. That way you can get your floorboard cleaned out and clear out anything inside the inner fender. You should be able to get it all out without the vacuum. So let's move on from here. Make this cover everything here. So the last video I pulled out this fender and I cleared out the bottom down here. In the past I've cleaned this out and it was full of leaves and dirt and ground up leaves. And by pulling that out, cleaning it out, it cleared this problem up. Now, evidently, this was a much bigger problem. So this time, I got the car in, jacked it up, took the wheel off so that I can get good access to the inner fender. Now, it just requires these are T20 Torx. That's all that's required to do this job is the T20 Torx. That's all you need. And there's 4 of the Torx screws that you take out. No big deal, nothing to it. Jack the car up. Make sure you put jack stand under it. It's there in case anybody was wondering. Jack stand's there. And pull those 4 screws out. And it takes a little force and you can pull this inner fender back, and there's a piece of thick rubber that lines the inside of this fender. Pull that back and away and you'll see this stuff is just really coated bad. Now what I was looking for was the little bladder. I was looking for it. Normally these things have like, it looks like a, I can't really think of what kind of a little bladder that if you squeeze one way it opens up, maybe like a whistle, but I couldn't find that. Normally that's where these things end, is in one of those little bladders where if you squeeze it, it'll bleed the water out and it lets the any bigger material stay in. Now what has happened, this tube that runs from the top, it runs down the inside of the car. Here's the back side. You can see where it's been wet. The tube runs down from this corner behind the airbag, which I don't like. I didn't like messing with that. Runs behind the airbag, down in behind the dash somewhere. Now I've had a couple of Beetles, and I've had a couple of these. I've had a couple of the Jettas. I've had these things apart. Now I've never been able to find where these things terminate, and I've seen videos that show other people showing the ends of these things, and I go and look for them in those areas, and I don't have those. So I don't know where these terminate in this car. I do know that it's that stuff that is accumulated there that you saw, that is part of it, because I can pour water down this channel and it'll come out from behind. Sorry about all the movement, stay with me. Now this connects to that inner fender. This is under the windshield wiper tray. And there's the top of the windshield. Now, you know, this is where a lot of leaves and things accumulate. Now back in behind there, somewhere, is supposedly the termination of this little tube with a bladder. I haven't ever found that bladder. I have been able to successfully clean these tubes out by either using the computer cleaner type compressed air or a compressor garage type compressor. Now I'm trying to get you a good shot. It's very difficult to do. In case you're looking for this, it is the little pop-up bug deflector. It is between the outside of that and the outside of the car. There. It's very hard to show you. All you can do is put an end on a air compressor chuck, like I have, and gently, because you don't want to knock these tubes out, but gently search around for that tube. Put a towel over your chuck, where my hand is at. Put a towel over this area, because it's going to make a mess. And push air through that tube. Now I just did it. This thing has been plugged up. And I just did it again, and it blew clear. Now I just hope that it's not blowing into the car now. So I'm going to try this again while I have the camera on it. Now I heard it. I can hear it gurgling through. And there it is. So I'm back behind the inside of that fender. So it's inside the body itself somewhere, that bladder. I haven't found it. Regardless, this one is working now. This is also kind of a proof of video for my wife. So that when she gets her car back, she can be assured that I did fix it correctly. And that the water is draining out at this point. We'll do it again. Maybe you can hear it. I don't think I got enough in it that time. There it goes. So it is pouring clear now. So I feel assured that we're going good now. And I think it's going to be a wrap on this one. So a couple of things to remember. Have your T20 Torx ready. Have your vacuum cleaner, the old filter, the paper filter for dry out, so that you can switch your shop back over to wet. Make sure you take that out. Make sure you have a hose ready, a towel, and a good light, which I didn't have. I'm using borrowed garage space today, so I did the best I could with what I have. Also, been a while since I'd taken the wheels off of one of these. These require a key, and if the wheels haven't been changed out on them, the key set and all of the appropriate tools for taking one of these wheels off of one of these Volkswagens should be in the spare set in the back. So remember that. Almost ran into an issue with that, so remember to have that available, or you're going to be trying to figure out some way to cut the lugs off of it. So okay, I'm going to clean up this mess, put this Jetta back together, and this one is fixed this time. So we will call this one done, and I hope that this helps you where maybe the other video didn't completely finish it for you. That's what happened to me. I thought it was finished, and we had a good rain, and it stopped up on me again. So I think what it was, I didn't have it cleaned properly the first time. So I think doing this job the next time, you pull the whole thing apart, top to bottom, just like I did, by taking this tray out, get anything out of it, pulling the inner fender out, pulling all of that out. And it gives you a chance to look at some other things on the vehicle while you have it apart also. Also, something very important I want to tell you about. When these things back up, they drain into the electrical block. So make sure you dry this out. You need to dry this out before you put it back together. Check with somebody. There's some chemicals you can get. Spray this area, or at least vacuum it out very, very good. And there's some spray chemicals you can get to actually clean electronics. But yes, these things, poor design Volkswagen. Poor design Volkswagen. It's a TDI, that goes without saying. I love them, but I hate them. Why would you put this block here where this tube ends? Anyway, let's get this thing back together. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. If you like the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you hit that notification button, you'll be notified when I have new content that becomes available. And if you do like the video, give me a thumbs up. Consider sharing with some of your friends. Maybe they're interested in the same type of things as you. So that's going to do it for this episode. Sorry that we had to do an update on this video, but that's the way I do it. We'll see you next time.